Namaskaram India. Have you ever imagined working in the Indian government? Perhaps as a civil servant, or have you ever dreamed of being a trusted advisor to the Prime Minister or Chief Minister of India, shaping policies and initiatives that could transform the country for the better? What do you think it takes to be a successful in such a role and make a positive impact on the country? Welcome to the Newsfication podcast, everything about education. In today's episode, we will be discussing the Union Public Service Commission's UPSC, which is responsible for conducting one of the most competitive and prestigious exams in India for civil services, which is the backbone of country's administrations. This podcast will cover everything you need to know about UPSC, including its history, training centers, common myth, import, impacts of revised NCERT books, National Education Policy 2020, and National Curriculum Framework (NCF). Additionally, the video covers the patterns and syllabus of UPSC CSE, the optional subjects, famous faculties and personalities, fake counselors, and many more. So watch till the end of this informative video, and I am sure you will thanking me later. So coming to the UPSC, it comes under Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievance and Pensions, formed on 1st October 1926. It headquarters at Dholpur House in New Delhi and has regional offices across India. The UPSC is independent constitutional body under the Government of India. It is a central recruiting agency in India. The Commission's primary focus is to conduct examination and interview for appointment to Indian civil services. UPSC reports directly to the President of India and can advise the government through him or her. However, such advice is not binding on the government. UPSC consists of chairman and other members appointed by the President of India. They hold office for a term of 6 years or till the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. They can resign or remove by the President on certain grounds. UPSC usually consists of 9 to 11 members, including the chairman. As of now, UPSC comprises a chairman and 10 members. History of UPSC. The UPSC was reconstituted and given a constitutional status under Article 350 of the Indian Constitution. In 1757, during East India Company, it was originated on that it was started as Convened Civil Services (CCS). In 1886, it was called as Imperial Service Civil Services (ICS). In 1854, Macaulay Committee recommended that the appointment should be merit-based instead of patronage-based. Indians was restricted to give competitive exams then. In 1886, the Acing Commission, chaired by Sir Charles Atherton, recommended that Indians also get employed in public services. From 1922, the ICS exams was held in India. The Public Service Commission of India was established on 1st October 1926 under the chairmanship of Sir Rose Barker. After independence, ICS has become Indian Administrative Service (IAS). So, let's have a quick quiz round of the quiz. Do you know who is known as the father of Indian civil services? Any guesses? It's Charles Cornwallis. Reformed and modernized civil services in India. Coming to next question, who was the first IAS officer? Anyone can remember this? Pre-1947, civil services was called Indian Civil Services (ICS), and Satyendranath Tagore was the first IAS officer. Last but not the least, do you know who was the first lady IAS officers in independent India? It's Anna Rajam Malhotra. She was the first IAS lady officers in independent India. UPSC is not a test of your memory but a test of your mettle. It is not a race to the finish but a journey to the excellence. It is not a competition with others but a challenge to yourself. While we generally think of UPSC, we may always think of collector or IPS officers. This is not a case. We always interpret it as a CSE, but there are more options in UPSC. UPSC is a board. Let's dive in details. UPSC conducts various examinations for recruitment into a civil service of India. I'm talking about civil services, not civil services examinations. So, let's take a look at some of the exams conducted by UPSC. Firstly, the Civil Services Examination, also famously known as CSE, which is the most popular exams among the aspirants and includes various services like IS, IPS, IFS and IRS. Secondly, the Engineering Services Examination or IES, which recruits engineers for various technical posts in the government. Thirdly, the Indian Forest Service Exams or IFOS, which selects officers for Indian Forest Services. Fourthly, the Indian Economic Service and Indian Statistical Service Examination or IES or ISS, which recruits officers for economic and statistical services. Fifthly, the Assistant Provident Fund Commissioners exams, which selects officers for Employees Provident Fund organizations. Sixthly, the Special Class Railway or SCRA, which recruits officers for Indian Railways. Seventhly, the Combined Defense Services exams or CDS, which recruits officers for Indian Army, Navy and Air Force. Eighthly, the Combined Medical Services Examination or CMSE, which recruits medical officers for various government services. Ninthly, the National Defense Academy or NDA exams, which selects candidates for the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force. 10th, the Combined Geoscientist and Geologist examinations, which selects officers for geological and hydrological services. And last but not the least, finally, the Central Armed Police Forces, which recruits officers for the Central Armed Police Force, as it named. Every aspirant has a dream of becoming a civil servant, but only few have the courage to perseverance and determination to make it on reality. UPSC is not a destination but a journey that shapes your characters, personality and vision. It is a journey that requires you to overcome your fears, doubts and failures. It is a journey that rewards you with the satisfactions of serving the nations and its people. So here we will discuss about eligibility criteria for UPSC CSE. To be eligible for civil service examination, a candidate must be an Indian citizen between the age of 21 to 32 years with minimum educational qualifications of bachelor degree from recognized university. Final year student can also appear for UPSC prelims exams. For CSE, number of attempts is limited. The general category student can give up to 32 age limit and attempt will be 6. For EWS 32 and 6, for OBC it's 35 and 9, and SC/ST unlimited till the age. Ex-serviceman age limit is 37 and number of attempts is 9, and for PWD candidate who have some disabilities have 42 age limit with the number of attempt 9. Coming to UPSC marking schemes, the UPSC follows a complex marking schemes for the civil service examinations, which takes into account the candidate's performance in pre-exam, mains exams and interview. In pre, each paper is of 200 marks, which means the total of UPSC prelims marks are 400 marks. For the right answer, plus 2 marks per questions in paper 1. In paper 2, plus 2.5 marks are awarded for the right answer. For every incorrect answer, a penalty of 1/3 of the total marks will be applied. While the mains examinations and interview carry more weightage in the final selection, the main exams and interview carry a weightage of 1750 marks and 275 marks respectively. Here you can see the total marks add up to 2025 marks, including mains and interview. You can also see the cutoff or tentative marks for all categories that students need to obtain qualifying exams. For general, it's 940 to 990 marks. For EWS, 890 to 992 marks. And for OBC, 900 to 950 marks. So on and so forth. Coming to list of posts filled through UPSC CSE. The UPSC fills various posts in India Civil Services, including there are three types of civil services: All India Civil Services, Group A and Group B. Coming to All India Services, there are Indian Administrative Services IAS, Indian Police Services IPS, Indian Forest Services IFOS. For Group A Civil Services, there are Indian Foreign Services IFS, Indian Audit and Account Services IAAS, Indian Civil Account Services ICAS, Indian Corporate Law Services ICLS, Indian Defence Account Services IDAS, Indian Defence State Services IDES, Indian Information Services IIS, Indian Ordnance Factories Services IOFS, Indian Communications Finance Services ICFS, Indian Post Services IPOS, Indian Railway Account Services IRAS, Indian Railway Personnel Services IRPS, Indian Railway Traffic Services IRTS, Indian Revenue Services IRS, Indian Trade Services ITS, and Railway Protection Force RPF. Coming to Group B Civil Services, it consists Air Force Civil Services, Armed Force Service, DANICS, also said DANICS, DANIPS, DANIPS. You may know Daman and Nicobar. You can just Google it. Pondicherry Civil Services and Pondicherry Police Services. Apart from this, these are the list which are like the list of service is updated from time to time based on the requirement of the government. Coming to rank-wise allotment, the UPSC follows a merit-based approach to allot services to successful candidate. The rank-wise service allotment is done based on candidate rank in the civil service examination. The higher the rank, the better the service allotted to the candidate. You can see this is the for IS general rank. Last rank for IS was 77. For EWS category it was 320. For IFS category last rank was 888. For IPS 229 and IRS IT at 257 and IRS it is and CNE 274. So on for OBC and so forth for SC/ST. These are the data of 2021. So coming to exam fees for offline and online coachings of UPSC. See, their applicants will charge only 100 rupees, but for preparations there are several institutes available in market. There are online coaching institute available for UPSC preparations, but it is important to choose the right one based on the candidate's requirement. We will not discuss any because I believe it's individual aspirants who qualify exam. Students just need a right guidance and strategy. In the world of AI and internet, you can get it too. Apart from this here are some approximately fees for UPSC CSE preparations. You can see the list of the coaching industry and their courses they provide and the fees they take charge. This is a huge amount for any middle class people. For again online coaching institute, these are the charges they take for UPSC aspirants for CSE preparations. Coming to the success ratio of UPSC in 2023, means 2022 to 2023, there are 32.39 lakhs candidates applied for UPSC exams. What does this mean? I told you about there are several examinations in UPSC, right? And 32.39 lakhs people have applied, but only 16 lakhs people appear for examination. What does this mean? Only 51.95% have appeared for the exams of UPSC. Particularly, if we talk about civil service exams specifically, only 50.51% of the 11.35 lakh applicants actually took the exam. The success ratio of UPSC aspirants is very low, with only about 0.1 to 0.2% of the candidates who appear for the examinations able to crack it. However, with the right approach and plans guidance, it is possible to clear the exam. There is some hype. It's a very, I know, means it's impossible job or something like that. But with the right approach and right guidance, you can clear these exams. You can see this like year-wise table. You can see in 2020 applied for CSE exams was 10.93 lakhs, means 10 lakhs, 11 lakhs approx people have applied, and qualified was only 10,000. I know it's a hard, but it's not like impossible thing. Qualified for mains was only 1,823, and final number of candidates was 761. Coming to the pattern of UPSC, the pattern of the civil service examination has undergone several changes over the year. The current pattern consists of a preliminary exams, pre-exams and main exams and interview. The pre-exams consist of 2 objective type papers, each carrying 200 marks, where CSAT papers is qualified in nature, and the main examinations consist of 9 papers, with the 7 carrying 250 marks each, including 2 optional paper. We will discuss this in details in a video in other sections of the Newsfication YouTube channel. For now, we will discuss interview boards or the board members. The interviewers are a board of eminent personalities including retired civil servants, academicians and subject matter experts from various fields. The member of CSE interview board are not permanent employees of UPSC, but are appointed for each CSE interview based on the expertise and experience in the relevant field. They are usually individuals with having held senior positions in government, academia or industry. UPSC selects them through a rigorous process that involves screening their applicants, reviewing their qualifications and experience and conducting interviews. The interview is not a test of knowledge, but rather a test of personality. Some essential personality traits for various civil service includes permanency, neutrality, impartiality, anonymity,